Today I'm going to share with you one of the most important things that happened to me when I was first starting out on self-improvement. And I credit this probably for most of the progress that I've made the past few months. A few months ago, as you may have heard before, I was absolutely a loser. I was anxiety-ridden, overweight, not confident at all. I could barely even talk to people. And I basically had no hope of accomplishing my dreams. I was in a really bad place, but this tip that I'm about to share with you is probably what played the biggest role in getting me out of that place into the person that you see today, and on the upward trajectory that I'm on today. This is mindset and self-identity. When I was first starting out on self-improvement, I was listening to the podcast, hearing some of the things people said, but it didn't really click for me. Like, I could listen to some of the things people were saying about improving your life, and I knew that I needed to have it happen to me. But I didn't feel like I could do it. I still viewed myself as a loser. I viewed myself as weak. And I viewed myself as things like a gamer as well as other things. And as long as I viewed myself that way, I acted that way. I would not do any exercise. I would spend most of my day in front of my computer. Maybe I was working on schoolwork, but probably I was just playing video games. And I did the things that fit the mold of how I viewed myself. What really changed things for me was when I heard about how important mindset is and how you view yourself to how much you act. Because think about it. If you view yourself a certain way, you act a certain way. Me, I viewed myself as a loser, so I acted like a loser. I did what a loser did. And when I heard this though, that was then things clicked. That was when I realized I don't need to act this way. What I need to do is change my mindset and change how I view myself. So here's what I did. And this is going to sound completely stupid and completely made up. But trust me, it worked. It worked for me, and I believe if it worked for me, it could probably work for you. Because I'm not that different. Essentially, what I did was I took out a piece of paper. Actually, here, let me get paper. Let me show it to you. Here's that piece of paper. It looks so weird on the camera, but essentially, what I did was I wrote down what I wanted to be, but I wrote it down with I am statements. So I wrote down, I am lucky, I am disciplined, I am strong, I am intelligent, and I am confident. Oh man, this sounds so stupid, but trust me, it worked. So what I did was I wrote down these things that I wanted to happen to me, the things that I wanted to be. And when I wrote it down, I didn't just write them down as the value statements on a wall. I attached I am to them. And then what I did was every morning for several weeks, what I did was I looked at this piece of paper that I wrote. This sounds so stupid, but it works. I looked at this piece of paper and I said, I am lucky. I am disciplined. I am strong. I am intelligent. And I am confident. Even though objectively at the time, these things were not true. Like, they were absolutely, unbelievably not true. Like, I could barely lift like 15s on each side when I was benching. I struggled with the 20-pound weights. I was not strong. I could barely even talk to people. And I was not lucky really at all. Like, and me telling you these things, like, it seemed completely bogus. But the thing is, it actually worked. Me repeating these things in the mirror, telling myself these things every single morning for a couple months, convinced my mind that this was actually the case. It convinced me that I am an athlete. I'm not overweight. I'm an athlete. I'm not lazy. I'm productive. I'm not weak. I'm disciplined. And once I started to associate myself with these things, I started acting the way I pictured a person like that would act. I would go to the gym. I would talk to more people. I would move forward with my goals. I would plan out my day and accomplish things. Attaching I am to what I wanted to be convinced myself that it was actually the case. And once my brain was convinced, I started acting the way a person like that would act. So this is what I think you can take away from this. Write down what you want to be. Write down the ideal person that you want to become in a year or two. Or even sooner, It could be that it's maybe some minor flaws you want to take care of. Maybe you write down that you're not depressed, that you're a happy person. Maybe you write down that you're clean of drugs, that you're sober. Maybe you write down that you're strong-willed, or that you're hardworking. Or maybe you write down that you're a director, or a writer, or an artist. Point is, you write down the things you want to become. But you then write them down with the words I am in front of them. Have you written them down yet? Once you do, once you write it down, say it. This is gonna sound cringe, I know. It's gonna feel super cringe when you first start. That's how I felt when I started. But regardless, you are going to say it. You're going to look at the things you want to become, and you're going to say, I am blank. I am happy. I am productive. I am successful. I am smart. You're going to say these things, and you're not going to say it wishy-washy like, oh, I'm smart, I'm lucky. You're going to say it with as much conviction as you can put into it. It's going to feel hollow, but if you say it enough times, it won't be. If you say it enough times, it'll get you into the mind state of thinking that you actually are these things. And that's the amazing things. Once you think that you are these things, suddenly your mind is going to start looking for excuses and looking for signs that you actually are smart, that you actually are strong, that you actually are happy. Instead of looking for all the bad things that are happening in your day, it's going to pick out, oh, this great thing happened to me. Oh, this person smiled at me. Oh, I was able to do this thing today. The same things are going to be happening in your day at first. You're going to be basically doing the same thing, and your life isn't going to change all that much. But what's going to change is your attitude towards it. Instead of reinforcing your negative ideas about yourself and reinforcing the bad things that happened, you're going to start picking out evidence about all these great things that you are and that you can become. And then, once you've begun to convince yourself that you are these positive traits, you're going to start doing them. It's going to be hard at first, and it might be inconsistent. But as you do these things, it's then going to be further evidence to convince you that you are these things you said you are. And then as you convince yourself more, you're going to start acting more like this person you want to become. And as you act like them more, it's going to feed it back into itself until 6 months later, you've completely changed your life. I know it sounds a bit weird. I know it sounds like it doesn't work, but I know for a fact that it does because I've experienced it. It's going to be hard at first, and is going to feel absolutely cringe to do. But if you want to make a positive change in your life and make a positive change in your mindset, you need to do this. You need to get it done. And you need to get it done as quickly as possible and overcome that initial period of not wanting to do it. Now, I get it. It feels weird. It's going to feel weird to talk to yourself in the mirror and tell you these things that are just not true at the moment. And if other people hear about it, you better believe they're going to be a bit weirded out by it. But what's more important? Accomplishing your dreams, becoming the best person that you can become, and moving forward with your life? Or not feeling a bit cringe in the morning for a couple months? You decide what's more important to you.